Over the last few weeks, we've been reporting on errors in the so-called wall of receipts. This is a website that Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has set up in the name of transparency to show how it saved American taxpayers money. How did Musk and his team respond after we found those errors? By making their work less transparent and making their errors harder to find. But we found them anyway. DOGE has added a new section to its website. This one deals with federal grants. They posted 3,500 new federal grants that they said they'd canceled and saved $10 billion in the process. But they only included minimal information about each one of these grants, like the agency that made the grant and the amount of money they claimed they had saved. They didn't include other details that would allow a reporter like me or anybody else to track down which grant they were talking about and to figure out if the claim DOGE was making is actually true. But they left identifying information for each one of these grants embedded in the code of DOGE's website. This long string of numbers is a unique award ID that identifies each grant within the federal government's bureaucracy. And what we discovered was basically the same kind of error they had been making before. There were 5 of those errors in just the top 20 largest savings they were claiming. Those errors started with the largest item on the list. DOGE said it had saved $1.75 billion by cutting a contract to a public health nonprofit. When we talked to that nonprofit, they said DOGE's data was wrong twice over. First, they said the contract had not been canceled. Second, they said that even if it had been canceled, all the money that the government owed them had already been paid. So the savings achieved by terminating this contract would be 0. In other cases, Musk's group seemed to have misunderstood a fundamental part of government contracting. They said they'd saved $83 million by cutting a grant from USAID to a nonprofit called Engender Health. What that group told us was that DOGE had been looking at something called a ceiling value, basically an upper limit on what the government could ever possibly spend. Instead, they'd been given a much smaller number, $1.2 million, of which they'd already received about $500,000. So the savings achieved by cutting that grant, they said, was not $83 million, but something much smaller, about $700,000. The next 3 errors all seem to involve a similar misunderstanding. A couple of days after DOGE posted those hidden clues that helped us find the reality of these grants, they removed them. A White House official told us that the identifying information was removed for security purposes. This new secrecy from DOGE appears to contradict what Elon Musk has said in interviews. He recently said that DOGE was transparent
line by line.
It's transparent line by line.
Which is quite remarkable.
We're going to continue trying to fact check those claims, but DOGE has just made our work much, much harder.